Welcome back. I'm the Doc Bob Lee, and our next guest is a developer and principal of B&B Urban LLC. His wife is the other B, and he joins us today to speak about his organization's partnership that will fund a project to develop affordable housing in the Northeast Bronx. Please welcome to the show, Alan Bell. Alan, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Alan, you've been building things up all over the place most of your life. Tell us about it. Give us a little history.
Well, if you really want to go back, I started in 1973 in the Lindsay administration, working in the housing agency way back then. And
wow.
I actually ran a program where the city would lend money for low-income families to purchase the buildings they lived in and convert them to low-income co-ops. And a lot of those were done. I also ran something called the Sweat Equity Program, where people actually contributed their own labor to reduce the costs of the projects.
Yeah. You work with mostly nonprofits, or?
Well, now I do. I mean, I've had a long career. Things took their course. I had a stint on Wall Street, and then created my own development company in 1986. And been doing, for a long time, did both market rate and affordable housing. And we were big. In fact, I think we were did more projects than anyone. Affordable homeownership, which was the New York City Housing Partnership Program of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And we built projects all over the city, affordable new homes, well, one and two family and three family homes.
What is your role now with B&B Urban?
So, I'm one of the principals, and 10 years ago, I left my other company and went into business with my wife. And we are focused on building affordable and supportive housing. We can get into what supportive housing means. And our special focus is on family supportive housing, housing for families, children and families where a head of household might have a mental issue or a substance abuse issue. And our whole focus is on keeping these families together, putting them into new housing where there's on-site support all day for any of the problems that might come up. And we've been doing this now for 7-8 years and produced many hundreds of units, most of which have been in partnership with L&M Development Partners, who's our partners and our contractor for most of these jobs.
Yeah, how did that come about, that partnership with the L&M?
Oh, because Ron Molis and I used to be competitors in the old partnership program.
So let's bring it together.
Yeah, we knew each other from meetings. You have meetings to talk about issues. And when I left my other company, I just talked to Ron and say, hey, you have a management company and you have a construction company, and I can do the development work on these jobs. And it's been a very good marriage, I must say.
How has the pandemic interfered with the building of these projects?
Well, fortunately, we were always on the list of essential services, so it didn't slow down the construction. We also were the first people to market and rent up a building in the middle of the pandemic, which was in the middle of last year on Atlantic Avenue in East New York, Brooklyn. The biggest issue, and which we tried to address, one of the big issues is, kids are home and they're not going to school. So in all of our buildings, including our buildings in the Bronx, 2700 Jerome Avenue and in East 162nd Street, we've set up facilities in the common area rooms for the kids to remote learn with teacher supervision. And we've set up these rooms so that these kids can have a more serious place to do their learning instead of just sitting in their apartments, where there's a tendency to be distracted, let's say, from what they're supposed to be doing.
Alan, who benefits from the housing developments that you guys put together?
Well, a number of people do. I think it's an interesting question. It's a good question because sometimes there's a lot of pushback about building affordable housing and supportive housing in different neighborhoods. And we've really found, and I think this is true, and there's some studies to look at, that it really enhances the values to everyone in the surrounding buildings, because we pride ourselves in building a very attractive product, and you would never know going by our buildings that these were supportive housing or housing for the very poor. They really don't look like that. And So for one thing, I think it helps the community at large. Secondly, it helps, all of our buildings are mixed income, and we believe very seriously in mixed income. So some of the incomes are, middle income, and for people in the community. It's a big issue, but we've given, 50% community preference is given to the renting up of these buildings. This has been attacked by some as not fair, but the immediate community gets the benefit of half the units going to them. And again, we address the needs of families in the shelter system with children that have not been able to find a place to live.
Yeah, it's wonderful. In everything that you do, Alan, you're always going to get some sort of opposition. So there's always that good and bad and yes and no and him and her, the system of duality,
Well, I've been around long enough to know that, that's for sure.
What are you working on next? What do you have coming up?
Well, we just closed on this job in Williamsbridge. Believe it or not, maybe I made a mistake, but I'm doing my first out of New York City job, which is historic buildings in downtown Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, very tough town. And I feel like Baltimore looks a little bit like New York did in the 70s and 80s, and it's really a tough town. The crime is a big problem, and these are beautiful old buildings that we're going to restore for live-work lofts. Large. Why do you
feel you made a mistake?
Well, I've always preached that real estate's a local business, and you don't even know what you know. Like your Rolodex is in your head, and you know so many people, and when you run into a problem, you know who to call. And I know that in New York, and in New York, locally, it's in my blood. You can ask me what's on a corner in some location. I can tell you what's on a corner. But
so you feel like you're in a dump by going outside of New York.
Yeah, I don't know that, and I don't know the people. Although I've gotten to know the new mayor down there, but but anyway, it'll be a fun project. Anyway.
Yeah, you're an expert. You'll figure it out. Everything will come together.
I hope so.
Yeah. Where can we go to find more out about you and what you're doing?
Well, we have a website, bnburban.com. It shows you both what we're doing recently and in the recent past and also in the far past. And you'll see Bronx jobs shown there from years ago that we've developed and built. And I've done now 50 ground up development projects, not 50 buildings, but 50 projects. I mean, a project might have had 100 houses in it. So been doing this a while. I love it. I love development. I love to see transformation in neighborhoods. I love to see smiling faces of people moving into new homes. There's nothing like it. For me anyway, not for everybody, but for me.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for joining and thank you for sharing. It's been wonderful. And we'll be looking forward to you coming back again and sharing more.
Anytime, give me a call. I'm available.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Alan Bell, principal of B&B Urban LLC. He's from the East Williamsbridge Gardens Housing Development Project, and he's putting it up. He's building it.
Right.
Keep building, Alan.
All right. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you. Okay. Unfortunately, Alan, that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank you and our guests for joining us and you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. We appreciate you and love you. And always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. Remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Well, all of us here at Bronx have a great and enjoyable day. And I'll see you over 107.5 WVLS. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. We love you all. Peace.